Hello and welcome to my wonderful How to Beat Ninja Gaiden series. I imagine this is going to either be like 2 or 3 episodes, 3 at the very most, and I'm actually going to skip through the cutscenes. Since I watched that the Game Grumps were playing Ninja Gaiden, and he was having such a ridiculously hard time through a lot of the game, and I just couldn't help but want to show that the game's really not that hard if you, if you are, decent at games. I'm just, I find it so hard to believe those guys have a game show, but they're so bad at the games. Maybe that's what the draw is. Anyway, the trick with this first boss that I'm about to show off is this. And he's dead. So, that's always good. This is... like, I don't want to make the game look too easy, and yeah, I'm going to skip through these, because you've probably seen them before. But, the trick to this game is really just to not stop moving and not to like overthink what's going on, which I think is really what most people have a problem with in this game. Is they try to look at things and look before they leap, but in this game you kind of have to just memorize. I don't know if memorize is even the right word for it. I mean, certainly memorizing the layout of the levels and where all the enemies are is going to help a lot, but it's not so much about memorizing everything and where everything's going to be, as much as it is just keep moving and react to what's happening on the screen. Yeah, see, that right there is one of those points when memorizing where the enemies are. By the way, I just want to point out, these guys are actually football players. If you look at their sprites, they're actually football players from Tecmo Super Bowl. Which I'm kind of surprised that, I haven't really heard anybody mention that in any of the reviews I've ever seen of this game. You would think that more people would, make fun of that fact, but I guess not. Oh, yeah. So yeah, this is not that difficult of a game. Challenging, yeah. Difficult, slightly. Impossible, not at all. I wouldn't even really say it's nearly as hard as, most of the gaming community out there have made it seem. I mean, there's a lot harder games out there than Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden 2, actually, people say, oh, Ninja Gaiden 2 is really hard because you get stage hazards. Who cares about stage hazards? They're not that big of a deal. You slide a little bit on a nice stage, there's a wind stage that, as long as you realize that you can't jump over huge pits when, when the wind is blowing the wrong direction, it's really not that big of a deal. Oh, you bastard. The other trick to this is you really have to kind of use the screen to your advantage. Like these birds, just let them fly off the screen. That's it. There's a lot of enemies you can actually just let them go off the screen and they don't respawn. But if you happen to walk up on an enemy that, all these enemies will spawn in the same spot every time. Like, watch this guy. That guy there. Or we'll say this guy right here. He will always spawn in the same place. And you can actually, if you stand right here, if he's close enough to the screen, he'll always spawn. the way the code works in this game is when an enemy's spawn point is at a certain distance from the end of the screen, they are created, or the sprite is created. I guess it's not really just the sprite, I guess it's the whole logic for the character, but let's say that the enemy is created at that particular area. So you just kind of have to make sure that their spawn points aren't right at the border of the screen. Otherwise you'll end up, letting them spawn indefinitely. And this boss is also pretty easy. You'll probably end up on this boss with this, I think this is called like a whirlwind star or something. Windmill star, I think? Something like that. But if you end up with that, all you do is whenever he jumps and leaves the 3 bullets are coming at you, you just throw the star at him. It's really simple. Like, there's not a whole lot to it. How far are we into the 6 minutes? So this is another one of those instances where you just have to kind of go. So if you just go, kill him. It's that easy. Whereas if you delay, then they're just going to sit there and start shooting bullets at you and you'll never get past them. Which this game is actually pretty good at doing that. Like making you delay, and then when you delay you end up screwed, so like right there, like I shouldn't have stopped or tried to kill him. I should have just jumped over him, continued running, and gone. But I will correct that problem this time around. Oh, okay, alright. Maybe not that way. It's also 4:20 in the morning. Of course, I say that as I start getting hit by a bunch of random things. There we go. Yeah, I really just needed to hold on to one bit of power there to use the whirlwind. The game does do a decent job of giving you the items you need to get through the parts, but sometimes not. Sometimes you don't know when to use them exactly. And there's that. Moving on. I'm most assuredly going to die again at some point. I just don't know when. Starting to get complacent. I'm always listening to music at this point because music in this game is actually probably one of its best features. A lot of the items actually are also traps. Like, there's a health power-up right after that pit. You have to go back to get it. And if you try to get it, though, like those green ninjas come down and they just knock you off the end of the pit. So, yeah, being greedy doesn't really help you out in this game either. Which actually reminds me of another game called Bomber Jack, where there's like a greedy. There's like a penalty for being greedy. You can actually get that on the Nintendo shop on DS. Might be able to get it on Wii too, or Wii U, I don't know. And those guys do like their random. Oh, I hate you. Do their friggin', what's that? You know, I really don't know the name of most of the moves. Like in Street Fighter, like where he goes, "Hey, that's pretty good" or something. I don't know what the hell he says, but it's great because it's like a whirlwind kick, maybe. It's like this game just ripped off a lot of other stuff. Like obviously we have a Friday the 13th Jason rip-off right there. Is this the boss? Yeah, no, this isn't the boss. Is it the boss? Yeah, it is the boss, okay. Actually, I will say that Aaron did a fairly decent job of explaining why these guys are difficult-ish. And that's just because they kind of, like, all their jumping makes you want to jump to try to get away from them. And that's how you avoid most things in the game, is by jumping. But those, you really can't. Alright, so I'm going to pause it now, and then we'll do the next part after... Well, I'll just do the next part. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.